Before I get to my talk, I'm going to make a little bit of a quick observation. I make my living as a truck driver. My vocation is the Polite Society podcast. That's my hobby. I make my money driving truck. And I've driven all 50 states. I've got more than 1.5 million miles under my belt as a driver. And there's something about the drivers in the Southeast. South Carolina, Georgia, especially Florida. What is it about you folks about driving in the left-hand lane and doing 10 damn miles an hour under the speed limit? I can definitively say, if you're traveling down the road and there's more than one lane going in one direction, if you're getting passed on the right, it's time for you to move your slow butt over. You may be wondering how that relates to gun rights, to our human rights. I'll get to that in a little bit. Let's get to the gun talk itself. I've noticed a lot lately that there's been an increase in my social media feed of people using the term Boogaloo. It's time for the Boogaloo. Folks, we don't want that. It's a huge mistake to even talk about it. I'm going to ask for a show of hands here in a second, and I'm guessing I'm going to get a lot of them. How many here have served in the military? Of those, keep your hands up. Of those that have served in the military, how many have seen actual active combat? Mike. I see Mike over here and one other gentleman. Go up to Mike later today. Go up to this other gentleman, and I'm sorry I don't know your name. Ask them about real combat. Because folks, the Boogaloo is going to be real combat. We don't want that here. The keyboard commandos that are calling for it, they've got this romanticized version of the books they've read about these great adventures of people going off to war. Folks, in war, in the Boogaloo, people are going to die. Probably not the ones that are calling for it. It's going to be their parents. It's going to be their spouses, their children. You know, the federal government, if it were ever to come to this, one of the things I hear from these people is, well, the real police and the military, they're gonna all defect. They'll come over to our side. Some will. Not all of them. I'm gonna guess probably not even the majority. And guess what? The ones that do leave, they're not gonna take the toys with them because they don't get to drive the tank home with them. They're gonna be just beside you with an AR-15, with a handgun. You're not gonna see anybody flying an F-22 Raptor to our rescue. We need to shut down the Boogaloo talk. It's not time for that. We need to get our rights back by other ways. I want to bring up three real quick areas, three real quick places that all of you should know. People my age all know these. And that's Ruby Ridge, the compound at Waco, Texas. And this one goes back a way. None of us here were alive. If you are, God bless you, but none of us were alive when this happened. And that's the raid at Wounded Knee. Our government is extremely good at fighting. They use really solid tactics. They've been at this for a long time. And it's a great way to fight. You know, thinking tactically, you want to, if you're going up against, if the Boogaloo were to happen, folks, I'm there with you. I'm not saying that I'm going to go hide in the trees. I'm there with you. But the government is going to bring overwhelming force, overwhelming firepower. That's how they operate. They all want to go home too. So, how do we avoid this? While I'm driving truck, my hobby, and someday I hope to be my real job, is the Polite Society podcast. And I talk about people. I observe people. That is my hobby. And that's one of the reasons I like the title of the event today. Education, not intimidation. That's awesome. Education is what the polite society is all about, and we need to reach out to the general public and educate them that they have a responsibility to defend themselves and their family and their community. How do we reach those that are not sitting here? You're here. You've drank the Kool-Aid. You believe that we all have a responsibility. How do we reach people that are outside of here? Let's take an example. I'm gonna make up a young lady. Her name is Lauren. Lauren lived in New York City. Has a little girl. Dad, boyfriend, husband, whatever, left. Lauren bootstrapped. She's a smart girl. She bootstrapped herself through college, got a job down here in Florida. She's living now a lot cheaper to live down here. She's doing great. How do you reach Lauren? Do you think by strapping an AR on your chest and going down to a state park and doing a little bit of fishing, is Lauren going to come up to you and want to talk? No. No, she's going to take her daughter and she's going to go somewhere where she perceives it safe. The way we get to Lauren, and by the way, there are people around here I know that know if you strap an AR on, it's legal with your fishing, if you're hunting, if you're camping, it's legal. And I'm going to fight to the death for your right to do it. You're going to get the attention. I will guarantee it. Police are going to be there. The people that have decided that we're all evil are going to be there. They're going to be shouting you down. You're going to get the attention. But the people we want to reach, Lauren, is going to be far away. She's going to be making sure that she's out of the way in case the police decide that the Boogaloo starts. So how do we get to Lauren? You get to Lauren by doing an end around guns. You talk to Lauren about jobs, about her job. You talk to Lauren about sports. You can talk about her children. You can talk about the fact that Epstein didn't kill himself. But the thing is, you don't talk guns. You become a friend to Lauren. When you become friends, the gun conversation will come out. But you need to be a friend first. Because if you're a friend, Lauren knows you're not some nut job that is just trying to get her opinion, get her vote. If she looks at you as a friend, your opinion means something. As to whether you could otherwise be a Jehovah's Witness coming and knocking on the door. Can I talk to you about the Lord our God? And she's going to slam the door right in your face. Now, I want to, education not, and I'm getting there, I know I'm over. Education, not intimidation. But you see, I want you to intimidate too. The people I want you to intimidate are the bureaucrats, the people that want to come and take the guns. And how do you intimidate them? Well, you don't do it by, again, strapping an AR to your chest and going camping. You get on lists. If you have a gun and you inherited it or you bought it from your I don't know the Florida laws for private sale, but in South Dakota, I can buy a gun from anybody without a background check. Federal law says you're supposed to make sure they are not a felon before you sell it, but there's no teeth in that law. And personally, if I'm going to sell a gun, if I'm going to sell a gun to somebody, I've done one gun sale in my life to a private individual. I made him show me a concealed carry permit card. Guaranteed good guy. So anyway, go back to where I was. To get on lists is how you intimidate the other side. If you buy a private gun, you're on a list. If you go to a gun store, you have to fill out the federal form, what is it? 44 44, yeah. You're not on a list, but guess what? That gun is. You go buy 1 or 2 guns, you're on a list. If, for example, you have a concealed carry permit, you're on a list. If you have a short barrel shotgun, short barrel rifle, boy, you're on a special list there. You paid $200 and a tax stamp to be on that list.
Or a suppressor.
Yeah, or a suppressor. And you know what the beautiful thing about suppressors is, and about all these lists are? The lists don't necessarily talk to one another. So you get a suppressor in for a 30 caliber, you get a suppressor for a 22, you get a suppressor for anyway. I'm gonna, according to the U.S. Census Bureau, and I looked this up yesterday and it kind of shocked me. 209 million adults live in the United States. And the reason I picked adults is because you have to be 18 to buy a gun. In some states now 21. According to a recent survey by Gallup, 63%, or excuse me, let me go back. I need to look at my notes. Okay, 30% of the U.S. population admitted to owning guns, according to this Gallup survey. And 43% of the adult population admits to living in a house with guns. I think those numbers are low. Reason being is if somebody calls you up on the phone and says, "Hi, my name is Jim from the Gallup Association. Do you own guns?" I'm going to say no, because how the hell do I know that you're from Gallup and you're not actually down the street wondering, A, if I'm home, and B, if I've got guns so you can come take them.
I lost all mine in a boating accident.
There you go. So according to 209 million adults in the United States by the U.S. Census Bureau, that number is fairly accurate. If we go by the Gallup numbers, 62,700,000 of us, and that number's low, are gun owners. The U.S. military, all branches, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Coast Guard, 38,473 active members of the military, 900,000 active sworn law enforcement officers. That means that we outnumber them to the tune of about 62-1. They're not going to be able to get your guns if they decide to come for them. So if we have, let's say, a million between the, and that's stretching, a million between the law enforcement officers in the military, what if we have 2 million people that have suppressors? What if we have, and there are more than this, 10 million nationwide that have concealed carry permits? We need to bring the number of concealed carry permits to about half of the adult population that owns guns. I want 30 million of us to have a concealed carry permit. Crime would drop dramatically, and a lot of the problems with our nation would begin to go away. And I'm going to be wrapping here real soon. There's one more set of lists I want you to be on. And this is where I think a lot of you are going to say, that old fat trucker, man, he's off his rocker. I could never do that. One, you better be doing. That's the first one. Are you registered to vote? You'd better be going to every election. And I'm not talking every presidential election. I'm not even talking every 2 years when we go to do the congressional elections. I want you to go to the school board election. I want you to vote in if they have a special election for tax assessor, I want you to vote in that election. I want you to become involved. One of the best ways to become involved, every one of you lives in a political precinct. And I don't care if you're a member of the Democratic Party, the Republican Party, Independent, Libertarian, they've all got political organizations that have precinct chairpersons. I gave it up 3 years ago, but I was a Republican precinct chairman in South Dakota. You know how I won that election? I signed up. I ran. Nobody else did. My precinct had 30,000 people in it. One guy ran for Republican chair for that district. I got to go to the state convention, and I got to have a voice in what my party did. You do that, you find you may like it, because actually it's kind of cool getting to hang out with all the big names. I got to meet the governor. But you find you like that. The next thing you're going to find yourself doing is you're going to head your butt down to Tallahassee. When they start putting in red flag laws, when they start saying, you know, we're going to stop, like they are in Virginia right now. Did you hear that in Virginia the other day, the ban on assault weapons went through?
They cleared the diet, they didn't get it through.
Yeah, so you're going to be there when you get that involved. Your voice is going to matter even more. And I want to talk to the one or two of you. And we got a little over 100 here right now. I want to talk to the one or two of you that do that and get excited. I want you to run for public office. We need more people like us representing us in places like Tallahassee. And if you do that, you find you like it, you know what? I'm betting there's some Democrats here in Florida that need to go home that are representing you in Washington, D.C. Folks, you need to be absolutely involved. Yeah, there are some Republicans. Who's the senator? I believe he's the president or the leader of your Senate?
Bill Galvano.
Galvano, yeah. Taking Bloomberg money. How's that working? So, how does this all go back to driving slow in the left-hand lane? If you own a gun and you're not registered to vote, you're driving slow in the left-hand lane. If you own a gun, you're registered to vote, and you're on some of the other lists I talked about, the short barrel shotgun, those lists, that puts you solidly in the left lane with a reason to be there. And I'm telling you what, folks, if you run for office, if you make your voice heard beyond your neighbor, son, you skip the fast lane, you're in the helicopter and taking over, going over the
Don't fly with Kobe.
yeah, and don't fly with Kobe. All right. I'm pretty sure I'm over. Kevin's over there going, I got to get this guy jerk out of here. We've got other people that have got to talk. Thank you for giving me your time. And please listen. Please listen if you get a chance sometime. Polite Society Podcast. The easiest way to find us is go to selfdefenseradio.net. We've got a whole bunch of great podcasts, all pro-freedom podcasts. Come give us a listen, and I'll be around all day. Thank you.